With 23 movies and counting, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a wealth of source material for the picking, and despite some amazing sets over the past decade inspired by the shared universe, many iconic moments have yet to be adapted. As part of a new sub-theme entitled the Infinity Saga, LEGO is paying homage to the MCU's legacy with retrospective sets from its 13-year history. LEGO's first dip into the MCU pond came in 2012, along with the release of the first Avengers movie, and as such, LEGOMARVEL fans have missed out on the tie-in sets for most of the Phase 1 movies, the origin movies for the core characters that have shaped the cinematic universe. It's because of this that my interest was piqued when I saw that an Iron Monger set was releasing. Despite an epic-looking Infinity Gauntlet, a set inspired by the final battle in Endgame, and a brand new version of the Guardian ship, Iron Man's latest set, a mid-range set, price-wise, was my first purchase in the Infinity Saga collection. Iron Man, the movie that started it all, the one that still holds up as one of the best movies in the series, finally has a dedicated set featuring the first MCU villain. What's not to get excited about? Featuring 3 exclusive minifigures based on the movie, the set includes the Mark III Iron Man, a suited Pepper Potts variant, and the jewel of the set in terms of exclusivity, an Obadiah Stane, the Iron Monger himself. That's 3 key Marvel characters. As a collector, that's enough for me to want this set. Now, over the past decade, the MCU Iron Man minifigures have evolved quite a bit, with more and more subtle detail integrated into the printing, and so the Mark III suit, the first of Tony Stark's red and gold armours, is exceptionally detailed from top to toe. With recent sets such as the Hall of Armour and other comic book inspired Iron Man sets opting for a one-piece helmet, it's great to see the return of the hinge design, which can be opened to reveal Tony's face. As the minifigures feature the additional Jarvis interface printing on the headpiece, it seems like such a waste that we can't actually see it without removing the helmet. That's rectified here. What is a nice touch here is the additional printing on the top of the helmet showing joining rivets, something that features on the actual suit and demonstrates how early in Iron Man's story this is. Much like its movie counterpart, the torso has no gold in the design, instead featuring a layered red armour design with circular arc reactor. There are some very subtle metallic lines on either side of the chest, again following the movie design. They're barely noticeable, and yet their inclusion shows just how much effort has gone into making this as accurate as possible. Sadly, however, the arms don't have any printing, and so we miss out on the gold aspects from the source material there. The back of the torso perfectly captures the layered connection plates we see in the movie as Tony suits up for the first time, with more subtle rivets at the neckline. The leg print is also unique for this minifigure, less detailed than we've seen in other MCU Iron Man figs, but movie accurate with the gold plating printing accentuating the boot-like red lower half. As MCU Iron Man figures go, with the exception of the arms, this is impressively movie accurate. Pepper Potts has seen life as a minifigure previously, with an Iron Man 3 tie-in set seeing the character in brick form, as well as her rescue suit making it into the Endgame sets. This new variant, however, is significantly different from both of those versions. This minifigure again features movie-accurate printing on the torso with black suit, white shirt, and a standard female outline. As one would expect, the legs are simple black with no printing. Probably the best thing about this minifigure's outfit is how pretty generic it is, so it works well if there's any other female characters you want to suit up. Nothing exciting from the headpiece or the hairpieces, as dual face printings and also the orange ponytailed hair. The prize minifigure in the collection is Obadiah Stane, and his minifigure debut is simple yet perfect. Interestingly, the 3-piece blue suit the minifigure is outfitted with, it doesn't actually appear to be from the movie. I watched the movie end to end, I couldn't find it anywhere. The only possibility I can think of is it's from the Forbes magazine very early on in the movie. Other than that, it might be comic book accurate, but either way, it does suit the character very well. The design is modelled on the character, let's face it, and very much suits what we've come to expect from him, wearing a perfect 3-piece suit complete with a tie and pocket watch chain. It's immaculate. There's no hairpiece, obviously, he's bald, but the bearded headpiece somehow perfectly captures the character, with a slightly raised eyebrow as well as very subtle age lines. At the end of the day, given the set's price point, you cannot complain that you get 3 named characters in the minifigure collection, each with a unique variant exclusive to the set. Moving on to the main build of the set, the Iron Monger, and let's face it, we've all seen enough Hulkbusters and Marvel mechs now from LEGO to know exactly what makes a great build in this genre. I myself own 3 Hulkbusters, the War Machine Hulkbuster, Igor, and every mech that was released in the last 2 years. Adding another one to that collection might seem a little bit frivolous at this point, but yet there is something truly special about the Iron Monger that sets it apart from the rest. The build itself is a casual 60 to 90 minutes worth, and it's about the same as every other build of a similar nature, and yet not one of the 470 plus pieces goes to waste in this model. It is exceptionally detailed from head to toe, and quite frankly, about as movie accurate as a LEGO version could be at this scale. I won't delve too much into the build process itself, purely because it isn't that unique when you compare it to, say, the Hulkbuster that came out last year. But it's still a lot of fun. Much like the Hulkbusters, the large helmet piece is a pre-printed piece, though rather than clipping directly onto the model, it has a 2-pin connection, similar to those you might have seen in the large Star Wars buildable figures that came out a few years ago. This allows for a large custom-built hinge to be connected, which pushes the metal face more forward and vertical compared to the Stark's Buster, somehow gifting the top half a much more aggressive and bulky look. The helmet piece is, however, one of the only 2 printed pieces on the entire build, the other one being the control panel inside the cockpit. The rest of the additional fine details come in the form of stickers. Now, I've never been a fan of stickers on LEGO sets, and especially not the transparent ones. You basically got one chance to get it right, all the stickers ruined beyond repair. But with the exception of one, they're all small enough where they don't overpower the raw look of the bricked elements. The exception to this is the massive arc reactor on the chest, as the circular piece is stickered, and so lining this up perfectly is a make or break moment. What is an interesting design choice is that the circular tile the sticker sits on is glow in the dark, a subtle but ingenious decision. The cockpit area is much more open and larger than the Hulkbusters, and also exposed studs mean that Stane is secured when inside the Iron Monger. The limbs, for the most part, are symmetrical, the legs being identical mirrors of each other. The only deviation comes in the lower half of the 2 arms, and whilst they both feature large blue disruptors, using transparent blue circular pieces, each arm features a different type of working stud shooter. The right arm features the more common rotating 6 stud shooter, which can be fired by rotating the back, very effective weapon against anything that Iron Man can throw at you. On the left arm, you'll find the push circular stud shooters, capable of pinging out 3 studs. Both of the weapons work effectively to give Iron Monger a great interactivity when it comes to play. You also get a crate to store your spare ammo. With the play side of things, I've always found that the Hulkbuster builds are a bit too flimsy and not really capable of vigorous play from the younger members of the family, before pieces start falling off, that is. With the Iron Monger, with the exception of the shoulder plates, which are basically held on with a couple of weak clips, the rest of the model feels much more sturdy, much more well constructed, so I'm pretty sure it can handle a bit more than the Hulkbusters. This is down to the source material accurate rods on the back which connect the elbow to the shoulder. These rods definitely strengthen the construction, though they do limit movement a bit. Well, not so much. It makes it more difficult to pose the arms. It's a small sacrifice, however, for something that not only looks more accurate in terms of its movie's design, but it's a better, sturdier build. Overall, now I've been waiting for an Iron Monger set for about a decade, and I'm not disappointed. The Iron Monger suit is beautifully recreated in LEGO form and about as movie accurate as it's possible to get at this scale. A lot of love for the movie has gone into this design, and it is very clear that the designer has done absolutely everything they can to bring as much detail into this model without the use of stickers. The stickers are a pain, but a necessity, more than made up for by the tiny bricked details included. Minifigure wise, this is a goldmine for any Marvel collector, with the Mark III finally arriving, as well as one of the stronger MCU villains in Obadiah Stane. Pepper's minifigure is not only a great addition, but also works as a great generic torso, which can be used elsewhere. There really aren't enough LEGO female characters in a power suit. Overall, the Iron Monger will sit top of my list for Marvel mechs of its size. It's fantastically unique in a genre that's oversaturated with Hulkbusters that all look alike. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Please do like the video if you've enjoyed it. And please do check out the rest of the channel. I'll be back very soon with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.